Thank you for that absolute lack of an introduction, Alana. It means a lot to me. Ellen Page just came out. Did you know that? When my friend got their grundle pierced, I asked them what the pain was like, and they told me, "Tain't that bad." Kentucky preacher famous for using snakes in his sermons just passed away recently. I really hope that whoever gives his eulogy includes the phrase, "snakes for the memories." I'm in my second year of stand-up comedy now, and my friend Rick, that whimsical Negro back there you'll see on stage shortly, pointed out that I have an issue with keeping my idle hand on my hip as if I were a little teapot. Granted, I am both short and stout. I prefer the comparisons to begin and end there. So now I'm at the impasse where I gotta figure out what to do with my free hand. Maybe I can just stand on stage. Well, I'm not really even on the stage right now. I'm just standing on carpet, just going like this as if I was jacking off my imaginary friend, because I just decided to make them my imaginary friend with benefits. So, that's my current struggle right now. And with the guy before me, Woody Wood, did anybody else hear his name and instantly think of the word pecker at the end? Okay, I guess there was only a couple other people like me that remember shitty cartoons. Have anybody, you ever had that moment where suddenly you're face to face with one of your biggest fears? Yeah. Okay, only one, fantastic. Because that happened to me a couple weeks ago when I almost shit my pants in public. I was walking back from the bar one night and thought I was going to let a little methane out, and when I started I realized it was going to be a bit more than that. And I went into emergency panic mode at this moment and tried to figure out what my options were. I thought I could drive home, and then I realized that the only thing that I'd essentially opened the fecal floodgates at this moment, and the only thing standing between me and a disastrous diarrhea dilemma was a very tight clench. And if I move my legs more than 3 inches apart, it is going to be poop down and pants down. So I figured my only option was to walk back to the bar and use the restroom. And walk's not really the right term for what I was doing. It was more of a shit pants shuffle of shame. So I soldiered on and shuffled back to the bar, and everything was going relatively smoothly until I hit the intersection. Looked to my left, saw no cars coming. Looked to my right and started shuffling. And then an SUV started approaching me at full speed. And he wasn't slowing down because how could he know my situation? In that moment, it dawned on me that tonight might be the night I get hit by a car. And at that moment, I was at peace with that, because it would give me a valid excuse for shitting my pants. And I wouldn't be the only one making skid marks on that street at night. Believe it or not, I'm educated. I've got 2 college degrees. First one I got was an associate's in liberal arts, which, for all intents and purposes, should just be a picture of a guy, dick in hand, just having right at it. Then that wasn't enough, so I got a bachelor's in communications, which it's the same guy, but now he's finishing. Multiple meanings on that one: ejaculation and 4-year education. Okay, 2 meanings on that one. And even with this education, I'm still having trouble finding a legitimate job because I can't really find anything that fits my particular skill set, because perpetual failure is not an actual career. If it was, I would be made, because I would nail that interview. Mr. Mullan, we're looking for a candidate who's incredibly awkward in all social interactions, incapable of interacting with women, and unable to pronounce even the simplest of words without making baffling errors. You believe you're the candidate we're looking for, Mr. Mullan? Absolutely. So, since perpetual failure is not on the table, I do the next best thing and deliver pizza, which is really bad this season because there are a lot of people who order pizza and delivery during blizzards because either they're sociopaths with no concern for the safety of others, or they just don't consider me people. And what's the thought process there? Well, there's a horrific blizzard going on outside, the roads are a death trap, and I'm hungry. I could cook for myself, but my appetite won't be truly satisfied unless I know someone putting their own personal well-being at risk so I can fuck my fat face hole with food tonight. And I think anybody else who's ever worked as a server or worked for tips knows the worst thing, the people who don't tip. Because there's nothing you can do to get back at them if you want to keep your job. In my 5 years of doing this, there was one moment where I was able to get one up on somebody who didn't tip. It happened in the bad downtown areas of Nashua. I delivered to a guy who looked like the unholy hybrid of Jabba the Hutt and Fat Bastard from Austin Powers. I got to his house. As soon as he opened his door, his cat ran out. He let out a damn it. This is already the best delivery I've ever been on, because you know the guy's not chasing after that cat, because the only thing that's ever run in his family is probably diabetes. And even if he was capable of accelerated locomotion, he doesn't look like he can catch his own breath, never mind a fucking cat. So, he hands me a $20 bill, and I tell him something that crushed his soul every bit as much as a discontinuation of Twinkies. And I said, "Sir, your total is $20.10. He gives me just a dead-eyed fat look. He goes, "You really gonna make me get the dime?" Absolutely, sir. And I'm putting my own time at risk here, because to find his own balls, this guy would need the assistance of Indiana Jones, and that would still take them the length of one action-packed cinematic romp to find him, and for some reason, the Nazis would be involved. And I got one more quick one. Just, R.A. touched on this earlier, because this is like an epiphany I had. You know when you were a kid, your parents would try to tell, well, if you were raised Catholic or Christian, I don't know if the Jews did this or not, I never really studied up on it, but they tell you that different weather conditions were because of God doing things, like rain was God crying because he watched The Notebook, the wind was him tearing ass, and mudslides was him after Taco Bell for dinner. I realized blizzards are just God making a bukkake video. So open up your tongues and catch some holy semen, everyone. James Mullan, have a great night.